Salute a voi, or greetings to you. So what we have today is a Kyosho model. It's called the Alfa Romeo Gran Premio Tipo 159 Alfetta. Here's a card that came in the box, different numbers, and yeah, those are the three variations. So I have the top variation apparently. While we're at it, let's take a look at the box because I don't think I've seen this box. So on the front, it's nice to see this 525 yen. So this model costs less than $6. If you want to pause the video, hold on, let me back out. Focus, pause. That's what else is what other offerings are in this collection. I'm gonna pick up hopefully one of each of them, or get one of each of them eventually if the price is right. And then you'll see this collection came out in 2012. So this is also the third collection here, mini collection number 3, just for Alfa Romeos. So we know they got at least a bunch of other castings somewhere out there. Okay, so that's good to know. I already went ahead and took this off the stand because I'm going to talk a bit, about this car while it spins around, and you can compare it to the photos of the real thing. So first, Alfetta is in Italian. That means little alpha. Okay, and so although we're looking at the Type 159, its predecessor was the Type 158, and I have to talk about that. The 158 first was made in 1937, 1938, in that time frame, and it was engineered by a person named Gioacchino Colombo. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that first name right, but the key thing to remember is Colombo. So he designed, the engine for this and the frame and all that. But later on, he went and worked for Ferrari a little bit, and later on, MV Agusta. So he designed engines. So whenever you hear about Ferrari Colombo engines, it's this guy that did that. And then MV Agusta, if you guys don't know much about motorcycles, they have a very strong championship-winning history in this time frame as well, the 50s, 60s. I think it was the 60s. Okay, now the Type 158, it was called that because it has a 1.5 liter straight 8 cylinder engine, and it was supercharged, and its pinnacle, I think, was 300 horsepower in 1948. Later on in 1950, the Type 158 won every race it competed in. In 1950, I believe, was the very first season of Formula One, so it won all those races it competed in. So when you factor the fact, this car was developed in 1938, and then it raced and won everything in 1950, that's pretty crazy. A couple of really popular, drivers. First one is Giuseppe Nino Farina, and then Juan Manuel Fangio. He's the guy you may have heard about. Juan Manuel Fangio is Argentinian, and he won 5 World Drivers' Championships, and his first one was in the next car called the 159. So that's the car we're looking at on this turntable. So the 959 was used for the 1951 season, and it had a reworked rear suspension. It was now making 420 horsepower at 9,600 RPM. So this little, 8-cylinder is wailing at 9,600 RPM. And this thing could go 190 miles per hour now. So look at the photo of the guy racing back there. Imagine driving this car at 190 miles per hour. That's pretty crazy. Like, the wind alone would probably want to shear your skin off your face. If you get in an accident, you're a dead man. Sadly, I think there was a race car driver. He died in one of these cars. Another interesting fact, this engine ran on methanol. So I believe Top Fuel dragsters run on that, or they run ethanol. I don't know. It's some sort of anol. And so this thing was a real fuel hog. It only got 1.2 miles per gallon, whereas competing Talbot Lagos were getting 7.5 miles per gallon. So this fuel craving cost them a race, actually, at the British Grand Prix at Silverstone. They didn't win because they had to refuel the car 2 times. Whereas other cars would never have to pit for fuel, and they won. Anyways, so that's what I found out about the car, and that's why I wanted to spin around, and you can kind of decide for yourself, hopefully by now, if you think it looks realistic to those photos. I think it's a pretty good representation. is 100% perfect. The wheels are really letting it down, I think. The wheels are let down, and it seems like there might be a little probe sticking out here for, I imagine, it's like a starter motor or something. But other than that, the bodywork looks fine. I think it's interesting that they printed on the vents here on the hood and on the side here. I don't know, I kind of feel it would have been nicer if they tried to mold in all those louvers. I think Kyosho could have done it, because they put pretty nice textures into their grills and stuff. Which does lead to this. This grill is not really textured other than the paint itself. It's a smooth surface painted silver and then painted black. I kind of feel it would have been cool if there was actually recesses. Anyways, the tires look pretty narrow and treaded and period correct. I assume at this time frame these might be drum brakes, because that's why they're so large and enclosed. I also assume this might be the Alfa badge back then. This little shamrock. And what's cool is this little windscreen. They captured that pretty well. The interior here, it's got some ribbing or quilting on the seat, some rivet marks there. Down there looks alright. A big round steering wheel is probably correct for that time frame. And you can actually fit some legs down in there if you had maybe a 3D printed miniature. I have no idea what this would be. Maybe the fuel filler cover? Or what would that be then? I'm not sure. I also don't know what these silver things are. Maybe hinges. Maybe there's a split down the middle and this thing opens up. The hood is like a gull wing. Okay. Is that something on the front? Yeah. Alright, I'm trying to focus, but it looks like there's some gold printing right there above the grill. So maybe that's the Alfa badge. I can't really make it out. Oh yes I can. Now I think that's the cross and the S, the snake. It's just in gold. Interesting. So then I don't know what that is. Maybe that's like the crest for Juan Manuel Fangio. Okay. This side's kind of cool, right? We got these two exhausts coming out of that straight 8-cylinder engine, which would explain why this thing is so long, right? But I am not sure about why are these wings here? Perhaps there's a lot of turbulence running off here and it cleans up the air before it hits the rear tires. That's all I can imagine, but not sure. What do you guys think? Okay, so going to the bottom, not much though. Just a little Kyosho and what the car is. It's screwed together if you want to maybe paint that interior, like maybe brown or something. Because photos of the real car does show brown, but it might be a restoration color. Don't know. Okay, so anyways, I think it's a pretty cool looking model. It's not 100% awesome because the wheels are kind of weak. But, this model was $5 or $6, so I'm not sure if you can really expect better wire wheels for that price. You would have to spend like $30 or $40 to get like photo etched metal, wire wheels. So can't be done, not economically. Alright, so I'm gonna let this spin up here. Anyways, I always knew about this car, I just never knew its history or why it was so important. And so that's one of the fun parts about collecting here. I do actually have its competing car, I guess. This is let's see, this is by Kyosho or Daido. I can't remember if it's a Daido kit. I think it's a kit from Daido, but it's made by Kyosho. This is from 2004, and it's the Ferrari 375 F1 from 1951. So it's the same season as this Alfa we just looked at. Now see, look at the louvers on the bottom of that. I think it could have been done on that Alfa. Same here. You can see the louvers, right? Instead of they're just printed. Let's just put it up there and you can kind of decide for yourself if you think it should have molded louvers or just printed louvers. I'm kind of liking the molded ones, right? It's just more realistic looking. Whereas on the Alfa, just those black lines, it's almost like a barcode. So I actually looked out on the Alfa. I don't notice any paint rash. And red is just the most susceptible color for me with paint rash. You know, there's some on this car as well. So anyways, I guess at some point in time, this shot right here might have happened in real life. Someone's passing someone else. So it's pretty cool collecting these cars. Alright, anyways, yeah, I appreciate you guys watching as always. And since Juan Manuel Fangio is from Argentina, I finally get to speak some Spanish. I don't know a lot of Spanish, but I can say, hey, adios amigos.